WWDC 2021 is right around the corner, and there are a lot of rumors and speculations flying, and we wanted to gather what we expect to see from the event in the next week. I'm Beth Motter here with Adrian Kingsley Hughes. Adrian, tell me, what are you expecting? What should we expect to see next week?
Well, being in the wilds of Scotland does not kind of put me off, insulate me from the excitement about WWDC. What can we expect? Well, there's the obvious stuff. There's going to be iOS updates. That's probably the one that people are looking at the most. I remember WWDC when everybody was looking at macOS, and now it's iOS. People are going to be wanting to see what are the new features, what are all the cool new things, where's Apple going to go? Are we going to see AR, VR, more of that stuff? Is there going to be more AirTag support for things? That's going to be a good place to go. That's definitely going to be the thing that people are looking for. There's going to be great excitement over AirTags, whether Apple's going to push that even further, especially with competition now from Amazon and its Amazon Sidewalk network that it's putting in, which is definitely going to increase the usability of things like Tile, which is a competitor of Apple's. Then there's all the other things, iPad OS. Pretty much a mirror of iOS, but just as important, especially if Apple is going to push that platform as a laptop replacement. Then there's smaller things, tvOS, watchOS. These are a little bit, I think, fringe, I think niche. I don't think that they're, people are looking at them as with as much closeness as they do with iOS. However, it is interesting to look that Apple is moving into WWDC 2021 with probably a decade of head start against anybody else in the wearables market at the moment. Our Apple Watch is just so far away beyond anything that anybody else has out there. And it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. Then we have macOS, of course, run on millions of systems, but now I think it's hit that point where everything starts to taste like beans, no matter how much Craig Federighi tries to make it seem exciting. Sorry, Craig, you know, he's really cool and he's really funny, but he's got a tough job of trying to make macOS seem exciting there. Then there's all the other things that are going to hit developers. Where's Apple Silicon going? We're sort of getting towards that year mark from when Tim Cook first gave us the kind of look at Apple Silicon. We've got some hardware that's already out. Are we going to get hints about M2 or whatever the next generation is going to be called? I wouldn't expect to see any hardware there, to be honest. But we might get some hints. We might see some things running different things. We might get some kind of tasters for developers in there for sure. It's very odd with WWDC. Some people think they know exactly what Apple's going to do on WWDC in terms of, it's going at developers. Developers have this certain view of the world, things that they're interested in, and they're not interested in other things. But I'm old enough to remember when Apple debuted Apple Music at WWDC 2015, which had nothing to do with developers. And I remember that awkwardness in the audience when people start clapping at things that they didn't really kind of know how to respond to. You know, it's not really something that developers had any access to or control over, and yet there was Apple showing off something brand new. So it's very hard to tell what we're going to see. Are we going to see new stuff? Maybe, maybe not. Listening to the rumors out there, everybody wants Apple to do everything. New hardware, new laptops, new Mac Pros, dog brushes that turn into toothbrushes. They want Apple to do everything. And the problem is that there's only a certain amount of time in these things. And I think that iOS, macOS, watchOS, and any kind of Apple Silicon connections in there are probably going to take up most of the time for the keynote. It'll be interesting to look through the rest of WWDC, see if we can get any hints as to what's going to appear. But I think as for any major surprises, I think Apple tends to play it safe with WWDC. It is ultimately a place where developers are congregating, and developers ultimately want to know what's in it for them in terms of how they can make money, how they can turn apps into money. And so I think most of it is going to be focused on that, especially in light of that Apple is engaged in litigation relating specifically to App Store behaviors with Epic. So I think I think Apple is going to be making friends with developers rather than trying to push new stuff on users.
Yeah, that's right. Can't forget about that epic trial going on right now. I wouldn't blame Apple if they were looking to tiptoe maybe a little bit.
It's hard to play that one. It's essentially a legal battle. Yeah, I think a lot of developers I speak to are quite happy with what's going on with the App Store. They like that whole sort of curated system. They like what Apple gives them in return for their 30%. I think other people are going, well, Apple's not really doing enough for that money and want that share to be reduced. Apple's going to work very hard to make sure that doesn't happen because, at the end of the day, that's a big revenue stream. Yeah, I think in terms of maybe we're going to see closer ties with developers. Maybe we're going to see some cool new things for developers, specifically for developers, because sometimes at WWDC, the focus does move away from developers. I think having a very developer-focused WWDC would be a good thing. And for Apple to tone down maybe a little bit of that whole, we're trying to use this event to sell.
All right, Adrian, thanks so much. As always, be sure to stick with ZDNet. We will keep you up to date on all things WWDC, Apple, and tech in general. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and drop us a comment. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to stick with ZDNet.